let the good times roll.
Hey wise guys, it's MGV. Welcome to part 3 of my Mafia IV What We Want series. This video series features comments and suggestions from you, the Mafia Game community, of what you want to see in the next Mafia game. As most of you goodfellas are aware of by now, the next Mafia game has been confirmed to be in development by publisher 2K Games and developer Hangar 13 Games. All we know so far from reliable Kotaku sources and LinkedIn job listings is that the next Mafia game is codenamed Nero, will take place in Italy, is a prequel to Mafia Definitive Edition, and is going to be made on Unreal Engine 5. With that being said, the next Mafia game is currently being developed, and it will most likely release in 2024 or worst-case scenario 2025. If it releases in 2025, then we can expect to see a trailer in 2024. In part 1 of Mafia IV What We Want, I asked you Mafia Game fans what you want to see in the next Mafia game. And here's what you wise guys said. You want to see Vito and Joe reuniting. You want Mafia 4 to take place in 1980s Los Angeles or Las Vegas. You want Mafia 4 to be a prequel to Mafia 1 about Ennio Salieri and Marco Morello. You want Mafia 4 to be a prequel to Mafia 2 about the war between Don Vinci and Don Moretti. And you want online multiplayer. Then in part 2 of Mafia 4 What We Want, I asked you Mafia Game fans what you want to see in the next Mafia game. And here's what you wise guys said. Immersive world like Mafia 2, a variety of side missions and activities to do. And you want to play as John Donovan following the events of Mafia 3. Even though the next Mafia game is rumored to be a prequel to Mafia Definitive Edition that takes place in Italy, it does not mean that Mafia 5 won't take place after the events of Mafia 3. According to Hangar 13 insiders who spoke to Kotaku, Nick Baines, the new president of Hangar 13 Games, is trying to greenlight Mafia 5, so once the Mafia prequel is finished, Hangar 13 developers can work on the sequel to Mafia 3. So even if your comments and suggestions don't make sense for a Mafia 1 prequel, who knows, maybe Hangar 13 developers can use it for future Mafia games. In this video, I will list what you guys said in the comments section of the previous video. If you want to be featured in my next video, Mafia 4 What We Want Part 4, then make sure to comment below on this video of what you want to see in the next Mafia game. Make sure you suggest something new. If you suggest something that I have already covered from parts 1 to 3, then I will ignore your comment. Now that we got that mumbo-jumbo out of the way, here's what we want to see in Mafia 4 Part 3. Number 1. Cooperative side missions. This YouTube comment says, optional tasks you can do, side missions unique tasks. But even if that gets in the game, then there should be a feature where you can bring along pals or associates. Outside of main story missions, not many games have side missions where the main character can bring along pals or associates. In the Godfather 1 and 2 video games, you can recruit crew members that will follow you and help you take over warehouses and rackets. It would be awesome to see this feature return in Mafia 4. According to recent LinkedIn job listings, Hangar 13 is looking for a senior systems designer for their Brighton, United Kingdom studio who has experience with multiplayer games and/or live game design experience. This heavily suggests Mafia 4 or Topspin 5 will have multiplayer mode. If this job listing is for Mafia 4, then we can expect to see an online multiplayer mode similar to the Saints Row games with co-op. Imagine joining your friend's game and completing side missions together, such as extorting businesses, taking over rackets, and racing against each other. If Mafia 4 ends up being single-player only, like the previous Mafia games, it would still be awesome if we could recruit fellow NPCs to follow us and complete side missions like the Godfather games. Having a crew that follows your every move and protects you is what makes a Mafia game feel like a Mafia game. Number 2. Purchasing properties. This YouTube comment says, if the game takes place after Mafia 3, we should have options to buy properties, businesses, etc., like in GTA Vice City where you can buy rackets, businesses, and it gives the player some upgrades, kind of like in Mafia 3. Now this is a great suggestion. In the 2006 video game, Scarface, The World Is Yours, you can purchase various fronts such as a cinema, jewelry store, restaurant, hotel, and a fast food joint which gives the player a steady flow of income. And after additional story progression, you unlock new weapons, vehicles, and home decorations which you can purchase. It could even be like Saints Row 2 where you can purchase various types of homes across Stillwater. Originally in Mafia 2, you could purchase homes from Richard Beck Realty, but sadly the feature didn't make it to the final game. In Mafia 3, you can't purchase properties, but you can take over rackets/districts. After you take over a racket, you can assign the racket to one of your underbosses, who in return will give you unique upgrades. And once you control all rackets in a district, you can give the entire district to one of your underbosses, who in return will give you additional unique upgrades. Depending on the underboss you choose, you will unlock a specific ability feature. It would be great if we can buy properties and businesses in Mafia 4. It would give money a purpose, and would incentivize the player to complete side missions, since some properties can be expensive to purchase. Buying properties in video games can create a sense of immersion by making the player feel like they are gradually taking control of the city. Number 3. Extorting businesses. This YouTube comment says, "I would love it if Mafia 4 adds businesses that the main character could operate, which serve as money laundering schemes and/or protection for various stores. You would receive weekly payments, but if the owner refuses to pay up, then you could go over to their store and intimidate them." Now, purchasing or controlling businesses isn't enough. Mafia game fans want to feel like they're actually in the Mafia. That's why future Mafia games need to have the feature of intimidating business owners. This feature is what differentiates the Godfather games from the Mafia trilogy. In the Godfather games, you can extort business owners by throwing them out windows.
You're gonna break something! Get your grubby hands off of me!
By beating up customers.
Who would do such a thing? Let me go! Please!
They're not a part of this.
Hey!
By destroying merchandise. And by beating business owners up.
Get your... No, please, not stuff!
I have no clue why this feature of extorting business owners never made it to Mafia 1, Mafia 2, and Mafia 3. This is a must-have feature for future Mafia games. Also, the next Mafia game should have the ability for rival families to take over your controlled businesses. In the Godfather game, if you attack a rival family too frequently, then they will retaliate by burning down your business and taking control of it. Extorting businesses is fun, sure, but it would be even more fun if there was a potential risk of losing control of your businesses if your vendetta level gets too high. Extorting businesses with the risk of losing control is a must-have feature for future Mafia games.
Help! Somebody help us!
Number 4. Character references. This YouTube comment says, "If it's set in Sicily, I want to come across people from Vito's family like his dad or mom. Picturing the rural Mediterranean roots of key series characters gets me excited for Mafia 4. From what small hints we've heard so far, there's so much potential character development and as many setting choices to explore. I'm hoping for a satisfying and detailed narrative playthrough that builds more context for every game in the series and resets expectations for Mafia series gameplay. This installment could really rival Rockstar Games." I agree with this comment. Rockstar Games currently does not have a true competitor for its GTA series. Mafia 4 could be the open-world crime game people have been longing for. Like I stated in Part 1, if GTA 6 ends up being woke, by appealing to a small minority of individuals and removes all offensive jokes, then Mafia 4 could really have a shot of being the masculine crime game that gamers have been longing for. Funny enough, both Rockstar Games and Hangar 13 games are owned by Take-Two Interactive, so Take-Two wins either way. Now back to what this comment initially suggested. I think it would be great if Mafia 4 references previous Mafia game characters. It is not confirmed that Mafia 4 will take place in Sicily. According to Hangar 13 insiders who spoke to Kotaku, Mafia 4 will take place in Italy. That means the location of the game could be Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan, Naples, or Palermo. Regardless of what city Mafia 4 is based on, it would be neat if we saw the Angelo or Scaletta family leaving to go to Empire Bay. In Mafia Definitive Edition in Chapter 20, in Tommy's house you can find his boarding ticket, passport, and picture of him as a kid with his family in Italy. According to the boarding ticket on the left, Marco, Maria, Marco Jr., Isabella, and Thomas Angelo departed Palermo on November 22, 1904. According to the description, a month after departing Palermo, the Angelo family arrived in Empire Bay on December 25, 1904, Christmas Day. Then in Empire Bay, the Angelo family took a crowded train to Lost Heaven where they settled down. According to Passport on the right, Tommy Angelo was born in San Celeste, Sicily on April 5, 1900. Mafia II's very first chapter, The Old Country, takes place in Tommy's hometown in San Celeste, Italy, where you play as Vito Scaletta fighting Mussolini soldiers in War World II. According to Mafia Game lore, Tommy Angelo's father, Marco Angelo, was 37 years old in 1904. I would not be surprised if we saw Tommy Angelo's father, or Vito Scaletta's father, make a short cameo in Mafia IV. Also, Don Frank Vinci from Mafia II is from Sicily and was involved with the Mafia. Frank Vinci is more likely to make an appearance in Mafia IV due to his mob heritage going back to extortion in Italian lemon groves. Even though the cast of characters for Mafia IV are most likely going to be brand new characters, we are more likely to see a young Frank Vinci than we are to see a young Ennio Salieri. According to Mafia Definitive Edition's cigarette card collectibles, Ennio Salieri was dirt poor until he joined the Peponi crime family in Lost Heaven. On the other hand, Frank Vinci learned the ropes of the mob life back in Italy. Since you have to be a full-blooded Sicilian or have both parents that are Italian to join the Mafia, the number of characters that can potentially make a cameo in Mafia IV is very large. In conclusion, I hope you wise guys enjoyed this Mafia IV What We Want Part 3 video. If you want to be featured in my next video, Mafia IV What We Want Part 4, then make sure to comment below what you want to see in the next Mafia game. Again, make sure your suggestion is new, something that I have not previously covered in parts 1 to 3. There were a lot of great suggestions presented in this video that I hope get implemented in the next Mafia game. As always, thank you for watching and make sure to share this video to fellow Mafia game fans.